Good morning. It's another Sunday. They come around very quick, these episodes. Anyway, glad you're enjoying them and glad you're watching, so thank you. What have we got for you today? Well, we've got a bit of clearing up still. We're still playing catch up outside, but this week I finally managed to get indoors and start some decorating, so we'll show you that later in the episode. And if you didn't see Wednesday's episode, we'll leave a link below. It's where we took you in to the bread oven and showed you around that, and we had so many comments, people just saying how interesting it was, and loads of likes and stuff like that. So thank you for watching, and thank you for liking, and thank you for commenting. It's always appreciated. Right, let's get on. Hope you enjoy it. Though I haven't got enough already. That's going to keep me going for quite a long time. Just so you can see the scale of my wood pile. That's a lot of wood. And the reason for chopping those logs was because these trees here, I had to take them down because conversation with our neighbour not long after we moved in, he said to us, those trees keep banging against my house. And he was being good as gold, he wasn't being funny with us or anything like that, but apparently he had mentioned it to the vendor previously, but the vendor didn't do anything about it. So we took them down because A, they were too big, and they were banging against his house and potentially causing damage to the roof. Now there is some damage up there. You can see there's quite a few loose tiles sitting there and a couple of holes up there. Now the neighbour, like I said, he's not being funny with us at all, and he appreciates the fact that I have chopped them down. He accepts that it's not the trees banging against his roof which has caused that problem. The problem is, if I can get close enough, Whoever built this roof didn't actually finish it off underneath at the gable end here. So we get really strong winds here sometimes, and the wind goes up under the tiles and lifts them. They're not nailed down, they haven't got fixings or anything like that. They're purely held on by gravity. And so he's going to get a roofer to come and finish that end at some point. And we've taken these trees down just to save any potential issues later. So yeah, it's a shame. I don't like chopping trees down, but these are very close to the house, and they were banging against his house, so fair enough. In fact, this hole here has actually only appeared since the trees were taken down. So there's a potential argument to say that the trees were actually providing a little bit of shelter for that end. But that hole certainly wasn't there. Those tiles were all there intact, and since the trees have come down, the wind's getting to that gable end a bit more now. So it's up to the neighbour to sort it out. I'm sure he will.
Just having a look at the irises again. This yellow one's come out. Baxter managed to break one off, and I've got this like a plum colour bearded iris. It's slightly pinkier than these ones. These are more burgundy.
We get so many comments about our dogs. They're always trying to steal the show, bless them. And all our dogs are rescue dogs, all three of them. And we've been rescuing dogs for years now. So Max, Baxter and Lexi, they're all rescued. But it's Lexi that probably has the saddest story to tell. And we found some footage this week which we'd forgotten about. And so it prompted us, with all the nice comments we get about the dogs, we thought, well, actually, it's quite an interesting little story that we thought we'd share with you. And if you're not dog people, we understand that, that's fair enough, but I think it's still quite an interesting little story. And Lexi's never far away, but she's not, she's very rarely in the forefront of our footage, because she's always there in the background somewhere. In fact, she's right here now, next to me, just quietly sitting there, so she's quite happy. Lexi. Good girl, Lexi. Yeah, you're a good girl, aren't you? You're never far away. Good girl. But anyway, her story starts in Cyprus, the Mediterranean island of Cyprus, where she was born. And she was apparently dumped by her owners. Why, we don't know. And she was living wild on an industrial estate. And somebody from the industrial estate contacted a local animal charity to see if they could help her. And so this footage is that very first contact that the animal charity had with her. And I'll warn you, it's a little bit sad to watch, but just bear in mind, she's here and she's happy now. So her life has been transformed since then. So don't be too sad about it. But I'll show you that footage now.
We're at an industrial estate coming to pick up a bulk load of dog and cat food, and this beautiful little poodle's around, and she or he's too scared for me to get close. I don't live local, so I can't come every day and just keep feeding and, you know, gaining its trust. Please, if anyone could help. The fur is really badly matted, as you can see. Poor darling. The thing is, I've got an appointment now, so I can't even hang around. I've tried for a half an hour, and you see I've put food. Please, somebody, can they come and help this dog? I'll pay for it, I'll take the dog, whatever. I just can't get down here and feed every day. So we're behind Karina. I can give directions. Just someone please help this little doggy.
Yeah, so anyway, the charity took 4 months to capture her, And then when they got her, they shaved her and cleaned her up and fed her and gave her sanctuary and advertised her. And to cut a long story short, we went through a process, and the charity said yes, we could take her. And they flew her over from Cyprus to Heathrow in London. And we went to collect her very late one night. In fact, it was early morning. And the staff at the animal centre at Heathrow are fantastic, really good. They really understand the needs of the animals and how distressing all that can be. It's, you imagine they're put in a hold of a plane. They don't know what's going on. The staff there were fantastic. Anyway, we brought her home, and she settled down after an hour or so in the corner of our conservatory. And so we left her down there for the evening, for the night. And then we came down early next morning, and it's very sweet, really. On our sofa in our lounge, I found one of my slippers and one of Susie's shoes. And so Lexi had obviously found them, picked them up, put them on the sofa and slept with them, which is quite sweet, really. And so I've got another little bit of footage, which was literally a couple of hours after that, where we're trying to coax her into our garden for the very first time. And clearly, everything's new. She was very nervous, didn't know what was going on. And we made sure the other dogs are outside, so she would follow them. And she did eventually go out into the garden. So here's that footage for you. Anyway, 2 years on, and she is a very happy dog. She's completely changed, completely transformed from that. She's still nervy, but she's such a loving dog now, and she loves this place because we are completely walled in. There's nowhere they can get out, so we leave the door open, they come and go as they want, and she's absolutely loving life. And we particularly enjoy watching her go off into the corner of the walled garden or somewhere on her own, because she would never have done that a couple of years ago. So she's a very happy dog, and it's a very rewarding thing to rescue a dog. So if you're dog people, of course, if you're ever thinking of getting a dog, there's a lot of reward in rescuing a dog and transforming the dog's life and seeing them come on and develop. It can be hard work. You've got to be really patient, and patience is the key. But it's very rewarding, and I would urge anybody to do it if you're thinking about getting a dog. And I'll leave a link to the charity in the description below. June, who does an amazing job in Cyprus. She really does. She rescues so many cats and dogs. And she has a special arrangement with British Airways, I believe, and they transport them for her. So we'll leave that description, and yeah, well, I hope you enjoyed that. And you've seen this view of the bread oven before. This is the walled garden side, so you can see the chimney up there. But of course, this bay tree here, that's really encroaching on the roof, and one or two tiles being knocked off. And I'm sure if I got into where the tree is there'd be some more tiles on the floor down there. So I'm going to take this tree below roof level, probably below the height of the wall here, just so it's lower down. There's only so many bay leaves you can put in your cooking, so we don't really need a bay tree that big. So I'll take that down, and then at least it'll stop any further damage to the roof. And we really need to come up with a plan for this whole building. Before I started that, I thought, well, I'll do some strimming just to clear this corner, and as usual ended up with a random boulder right in the middle of it all, and another pile of mulched down waste of however many years. But there you go, it's what to expect when you start strimming here. Anyway, I'll get on with that and see how I get on. That's made quite a bit of difference, but just get you in there. You can see that's right up against the roof, and those few tiles there, they've already gone. They'll be on the ground somewhere. So these two trunks, they've got to go, these two stems. So I'm going to have to try and cut those down. They're quite big, but it doesn't matter. Well, there you go. You cut things back and you start noticing cracks in buildings. That goes all the way to the floor. So that corner could be just coming away, but it's possibly because of the tree. It's not a very tall wall, so I'm not overly concerned. It's not going to suddenly collapse, but you can see the roof damage there. So it's the right decision. But I'll just take you around the other side of the wall, because one of these branches is coming through in the corner. It's going to be a bit awkward. And here we are by the entrance to the bread oven building, and those have come through from the other side, so they're going to be a bit awkward, but I've cut them back, so I think long term I'm going to have to start digging around there, the other side, and try and get to them, but I can't get into that corner very well. But I've achieved what I set out to achieve today: stop any more deterioration on the roof. And the guys down at the déchetterie are getting to know me and Susie very, very well. Another pile. I'm going to have to chop that slightly smaller to get it into the van, but there you go. Another half van load for the déchetterie. There's Lexi in the background. Lexi! Hello! There's still room in there. I don't like going to the déchetterie with half a van, so I'll have to find something else to put in it. Perfect. Please excuse my rather dishevelled look, but it's not all glamour at the chateau. I'm not sure it ever is glamour at the Château, but anyway. So today I'm in the study, and it's a lovely day out there, but it's also nice to be back inside doing some interior stuff. I've prepped the ceiling and the moulding up the top there, so I'm going to try and get a coat or two on there today. Well, just about halfway on the first coat, and you can see the difference, brightening it up lovely, really. Yeah, it's gonna look lovely. It's gonna really give it a brighter feel. Yeah, I'm really pleased with this colour. There's a little story behind this colour, because it's a cream. We didn't really want white. White I find a bit stark, really, but cream could lighten it. But we always used this particular colour on our ceilings in the UK, and it's actually called parchment. And the unusual thing about it is it goes towards the yellow, whereas most creams go towards the beige. And the problem with that, they end up like, you know, back in the 80s, 90s in the UK, we had this thing about magnolia, which was this beige cream thing. And there's lots of variations on that, but we've never liked that. But this one goes towards the yellow. The problem is we couldn't find it anywhere in this country, anywhere in France. We looked, we went to paint manufacturers, we went to DIY shops, couldn't find it anywhere. So we contacted the company that we used to buy them from in the UK, and it was going to be quite expensive to get it over here because tariffs and customs duty. And it's so we were going to compromise really and get the nearest two, but we didn't really want to. But we had some buy me a coffee contributions, very kind contributions, and we looked at it. We thought, well, it's not that much extra, but shall we go for it? And so we have. So we're happy now. We haven't had to compromise. And so thank you. There's a few of you, because we bought 2 pots. It's quite expensive. Right off the top of my head. Dave, Deirdre, Mishi, Charlotte, Janet, Christine and Richard. You all know who you are. You contributed on Buy Me a Coffee recently. Thank you, because your contributions have added up to us being happy, getting the correct colour, and it makes such a difference. The yellow in it just brightens the room up more than a beige can do. So we're really happy. So thank you ever so much. It's really kind. Well, that's the first coat. I don't know whether you'll be able to see the yellow in it. It's a very subtle yellow, but it's you can see the colour difference between what I've done there and what was on the walls. I didn't realise it was as dark as it was until I started painting. But yeah, first coat's come up pretty well. So I'll get a second coat on tomorrow. And you can see the ceiling rows I haven't painted in between that yet. I'm not actually going to paint the ceiling rows, just in between, because we're going to gold leaf the ceiling rows. And this isn't a site you would have seen 2 months ago. Susie wouldn't have been able to lift the strimmer, let alone use it, so it's nice to see. And I think we can forgive her for her lack of health and safety. She's a bit out of practice, bless her.
Well, it's been a lovely week, hasn't it? weather's been lovely.
It's glorious. There's not a cloud.
No.
It's just glorious. It's been beautiful.
So, if you'd like to be part of the journey in restoring this historic building with us, head on over to our Patreon page, or have a look at the Buy a Coffee link.
Yep, we'll put those links as usual down below.
Yeah.
And thank you to all those who've contributed, and thank you as well for your comments. Those are great contributions, and we read every comment, and we like reading the comments, don't we, and replying. So thank you. Well, hope you enjoyed it this week. Bit more footage on Susie next week. We filmed a lot, didn't we, this week of you, but we didn't get time to put it all together, I'm afraid. So more of her, less of me next week.
And Lexi's hair cutting.
Yeah, Lexi, bless her. That's an art form, that is, cutting her hair. So we might show you a little bit of that for a bit of fun.
And some more decorating.
More decorating. Yep, I've now started, so I'm happy with that. So it's good to get started on the inside again.
Yeah.
I haven't had much chance the last few months, so yeah, brilliant.
So we'll see you on Wednesday,
Wednesday.
midweek at the Citadel.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.